Yo, what up? It's your boy, DJ Babinkahan, Lord of the Bricks. What's up, homegirl?
Hi.
What did we just watch?
I watched a movie. It's called Minari.
Minari.
And it just came out, right? Like it was
It's had a limited release, and it's got it's like a film like this usually does. They slowly push it out.
it's on Amazon Prime Video.
Yes.
And we rented it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been wanting to see this. I've been wanting to support the film because it's it's about a Korean American family that are they moved to Arkansas.
It's set in the 80s.
It's set in the 80s. They start a farm. They they just they in search of that hype that
The American Dream.
yes.
Sorry, that's actually what it said on the thing.
Yeah,
I know. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen a lot of posts promoting it too. And I realize, I mean, there like that happens a lot. I'm interested. Like I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, cool. But then but this time we followed through. It's such a cute. It's so cute. Like the whole time. So it's a family, Steven Yeun, wife, older sister, younger brother. And so it's just like an Asian family. It is so adorable. Like he's so cute. Like he's really good. I mean, little boy carried it.
The boy made the film. The film was good. Don't get me wrong. It's well acted, perfectly acted, directed. The pacing and the writing was good, but I've seen movies that have all that, but if the child actor isn't like compelling enough, it's the movie falls flat.
And then I think the other big thing that I thought of while watching this movie is like it's like nostalgic. I mean, like I didn't grow up in that time. It's before my time.
Yeah.
But it's like, like I always
there's so many familiarities.
I know,
though.
and I know, like I just keep paralleling it to you because it's the same family structure: mom, dad, older sister, younger brother. I'm projecting Daniel into the little boy.
This is half of it was my life story.
Yeah, and then later on, the story is also like the grandma comes from Korea and stays with them, and like it just I reminded me of like my grandma coming to the Philippines, staying with us and watching my brothers
coming
and I
coming
from the Philippines to America. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting too because they're in like Arkansas and like they find a church that's predominantly white to go to, or like there's another character who's like he's very like he's like speaking in tongues and like praying,
super American Christian,
which is again something that is close to home, close to home for us.
Exactly.
So it is nice. Like it's interesting just to see a story that like in a way we in multiple levels we see ourselves in. That's it. We're done. That's the movie review. Can't get any better than that.
I would say this is one of those films where the less you know about it, maybe the better. Other than like, so I wouldn't want to spoil certain things that happen in the film.
And I don't want to either.
Yeah, because we didn't really read up on this film too much, and we didn't really want to. I didn't even watch the trailer, so I think, but. The important stuff is it's about an Asian American family and
it's a very
experience.
It's genuine.
It's that and we you realize that this was the experience in some shape or form for most Asian American families. Maybe not like specifically like that, but a lot of them like that. And let's see, what should we talk about?
I mean, it's like a story of risk because he's like I mean, yeah, like this isn't. We're not gonna like spoil it, but
It's
you
a
know,
very
like,
emotional, family-based drama.
yeah.
Although some interesting details is that that's not too spoilery. Is
But we
like
hope would encourage you to watch it because
yeah
we actually like. I'm
they
like,
they
we want to
they
review this and
so that he buys land. Stephen Yun, guy from Walking Dead, Glenn, who did a great job, by the way. Like he portrayed a like because I know that he speaks fluent English, and a lot of times when I know an actor can do that, if they just try speaking in like another language, it's kind of hard for me to believe because I'm listening for like an off accent. I'm listening for him to slip up, but he actually. I'm not Korean, but as far as I'm concerned, like his performance was very authentic, very
yeah,
believable.
I was telling
Um,
Daniel too that like, uh, you, it's like I was able to go with it, you know, because sometimes you watch an actor and you associate them with like a different role or something, but like he portrayed like the Asian an Asian dad. It's a I mean sorry, but it's very there's a lot of like mess like macho and like he wants to
mhm.
take care of his family and do whatever it takes and like
But I mean, in the
work
form
really
of
hard.
uh, fulfilling his dream, like
Yeah,
his goals,
yeah,
uh, his vision, and his family's along for the ride, for better or for worse. That's a
yeah.
very common theme, and so like some. Like one of the details that I was interesting is that since he buys this farm, this farm has a reputation among the community as like cursed land or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a supernatural film, don't worry. But I'm just
No,
saying
it's not.
but it is interesting how they incorporate like the spirituality that is an important aspect of both Korean Americans who immigrate to the U.S. and like the South, the Bible Belt of the United States. Um, there's a scene where the kid sleeps over, this Asian kid, the Asian boy. He sleeps over at his friend's house, and his friend is white, and the family's white. And like I remember doing that when I was a kid. I slept over once at my friend's house, and who was white, and I mean it wasn't like super uncomfortable or anything, but there was this awkwardness that felt familiar in that scene. This awkwardness of like, I obviously do not belong in this home. I do not fit in this home, and this home is not like how like my home is. It's different.
Yeah.
Which, hey, that's just the reality of it. That's the awkwardness that you feel in those situations, and that's really.
That's yeah.
Hmm.
That's the Asian American experience.
Yeah.
Well, another
And
yeah.
I think the grandma character was really good in a lot of ways. Like she very much felt like everyone's Asian grandma, or at least an archetype of an Asian grandma. Like she likes gambling.
She cussed for the kids or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's cool. It's and like yeah, there was so much storytelling, and like the relationships with each character to each other, and I think it's a great story. And then I mean, like and I like the ending, or the ending is interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
The end. Oh, I don't want to talk spoilers, but
Why don't we can do rating and then we can and then do spoilers.
okay.
If you is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Sure.
Because I do want to discuss this.
Okay. So, how many how many Korean crops out of 10 do you give Minari?
I think I'll give it a 9.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna give it an 8, but I was like, you know what? Let's uplift.
Well, let me ask you before I answer.
Okay.
If you were not Asian American, would you still give it a 9?
I don't know. That would probably influence my answer. I will tell you that for sure. And it also brings up the thing like that's a Korean American story.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I would like.
That's true. That's
I
true.
would
'Cause
love.
we're not Korean American,
We're not.
but we still feel it on some levels. Because,
yes, but it would be interesting to imagine like how would that be what it would look like for a Filipino family,
mm-hmm.
like to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of nuances there would be. And then and then it's always the conversation of importance of representation, and I know that's something that you are always passionate about as well, which is great, which is true. So, how many crates of produce do you give it?
I give it a 9 as well.
Woo! Okay. So with that being said, I think those, if you want to stay and listen to us talk about the ending, because it's a major spoiler. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow me. I don't know.
Twitch.tv/Rizzling.
I know.
You can follow me at Victor_Kwan on Twitter.
You're not even on that anymore. You're
Victor, no
like the
Kwan
kayfabe
on
is done.
Instagram.
It's just you're just DTubing them. It's fine. I'll whatever. Okay.
Kayfabe is done.
So
No, I
ending.
went to AEW.
The ending is cool because it was like that other movie we watched, where the ending.
Spoiler.
Yeah. So
spoilers.
like we're
Casta. Out.
stupid. Okay.
There's a scene where the guy does that in the film.
And we felt it. But it was like that other movie we watched that had like Bryan Cranston.
Westgate.
Something like that.
Westfield.
Something like that. But the ending, it's like you don't know how it ends.
Well, I think you do.
It's an open. No, remember we were having the conversation of like.
I love you.
I love you too.
She
but
got
you,
mad.
what? Whatever. Come on, just.
You could take the kids and move to California if that's what you really want to do.
Damn.
Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want.
Do you think that's what happened though?
So. Okay.
Like, what do you think happened?
Well, so the produce, he gets some success, but the produce like gets burned by the grandma.
Was that all of it?
Most of it, I'm pretty sure. Most of it, and that's it. That's like he was screwed up until that point, but then the last couple scenes are him looking for hiring somebody,
Which
local.
Which is what he didn't want to do in the first place.
Right. He said there was a line in the beginning where he was like, "We don't." Koreans...
Why do something that you can do yourself for free?
Yes.
So
he gets a actual person from Arkansas from the area to look for water.
But
to build a well, but it's not answered whether or not that well was produced good water, and then the final scene is him harvesting the Minari that the grandma.
I was wondering how the title,
planted.
like the significance of the title too, and once they introduced it, like
with his son, he harvests it with his son.
So what do you think happened? Like, did they harvest it all? Like, is he gonna sell it to like make at least some kind of amount of money just to tide them over?
No, honestly, I think the answer is that the struggle doesn't end. Like I feel like that's what the writer is trying to tell you. The director is trying to say that yes, maybe shit gets bad, but they're still just trying to figure it out. Just like every Asian American family, it's like you get some success, but there's still going to be ups and downs. Just like the wife was saying, like you can't handle things in the bad times. Things are okay when things are going well, but when the bad times come, like it's like we're falling apart. Does she decide to stay? Does she decide to leave? Well, I mean, it's like we know Asian families that some of them split up because they couldn't hack it at that point. Some of them, even though they were like arguing to a point where they're like, "Oh, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to take the kids. We're going to do this." they figure it out and they work through it and they stay together. But the reality is, it's like, what is this? What is the ending to the film? The ending is that there's no ending. It's just they just keep
Which makes it
struggling.
interesting. You make an interesting point. Because also, like, it makes it a more genuine story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you watch these stories and everything is tied up with a pretty bow at the end, and the guy gets the girl happily ever after. But this is like, I mean, it it has a nice ending. Like, I mean, the last scene is nice, but like, so it gives you, it leaves you with an interesting feeling. You're not like disappointed. I mean, I felt okay, but not like, but it's also like you bringing up that perspective. It's like, huh, there's a deeper point to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we encourage you to watch this and support Asian storytelling.
A couple things that I would want to add are just that what was it? What do you think the Minari was it a metaphor for something? Like, was there a deeper meaning to like the Minari was?
Well, so you learn that it's like a lettuce or it's a gulai that grows near the water and is. The grandma also said something when she was talking about it. Like, it's for everybody, for rich, for poor. Like, so I don't know. It's just there's significance because the grandma put it there. Yeah, I don't know. My arm kind of hurts.
Okay, here, let me hold it.
Yes. You're gonna edit this because you said you would. I don't know how I'm gonna send it to you though, but you have a freaking. I can't airdrop it to you.
Okay. Well, my theory is that the metaphor of Minari is like the soul of like the roots, the deep roots of a people. And it's like he's trying to plant, an American soil. He's trying to plant Korean vegetables in American soil, and he has so many struggles trying to get it to grow and to sprout up. Some do, and sometimes and they still get screwed over by like a deeper system. I think the grandma who planted in more like more she planted like she wasn't planting like produce. She was just trying to plant seeds, the Minari seeds, the very, I guess, traditional vegetables, and she just put it in soil that she was familiar with, and it grew. I guess that's suggests that like your where am I going with this? Like your soil, like your soul. Oh, sorry. That the soul will. The last line was "Grandma picked a good spot," something like that. So I don't know. Can you add on to that in any way? Do you see where I'm going with this?
So there's like symbolism of like generations and cultures.
Yeah, like you don't like you may lose. What you're trying to plant in American soil, but you still have that, and the fact that he's harvesting that means that it's valuable.
It's also interesting because there's the arc of it's the 80s and they're like a lot of Koreans are moving to wherever city that was, Oklahoma or Tulsa or some some metropolitan area.
Dallas?
So they're in Arkansas.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, I don't know, is Arkansas next to Texas? I don't know, sorry. But, like, there's they do represent, like, part of a shift of, you're saying, like, there's more of them, more people like them, sort of, that are immigrating and settling down and stuff. And he wanted to, like, get ahead of that.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just a good movie. Well, it's not just a good movie, but I liked it. And it was good. It was good and it was cute. That's why.
Yes.